Hello friends, welcome to the series in which we are going to discuss about conquering the prelims. As a sub-inspector, I cleared this exam, so I want to give one message to the working professionals who are preparing for this exam. If you follow the PYQs with utmost diligence and discipline, if you follow the trend analysis, if you know the pulse of this examination, you are going to clear this exam. Now we are going to come up with the question, polity. So this is the polity series question. So we are going to discuss with the repeated themes. So UPSC is all about repeated themes. It is not about it is not only solving question. It how to analyze and decipher the themes. The first year in India, the separation of judiciary from the executive is enjoined by. The answer is the directive principle of state policy. My point is not answer. My point is not answer. So here, the DPSP is one of the important things for the examination. In the DPSP, the separation of judiciary from the executive, this is one of the theme important not only for prelims, for mains also. Many questions are going to come because we know there is a judicial activism, there is a judicial overreach. So the conflict of the powers, a conflict within the constitution, a conflict between the different organs of the government is going to come into your examination. So here, after finding the answer, we should look into the other options: the preamble of the Constitution, 7th schedule, the conventional practice. See here, the 7th schedule and the preamble. These are the two important things important for your prelims and mains examination. So this is all about Article 50 of the DPSP. The state shall take steps to separate the judiciary from the executive in the public service of the state. Directive principle of state policy are given in the part 4 of the Constitution. So this is all about the DPSP. Then question number 2. Other than the fundamental rights, which of the following parts of the Constitution of India reflect or reflects the principles and the provisions of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights? Friends, if you see that this question is nothing to do with the PYQs. However, you have to apply some common sense in the prelims exam hall. In the exam hall, you have to, because in UPSC questions, certain questions are going to be tackled with the knowledge, certain questions are going to be tackled with the common sense. So here, human rights means any rights which is going to helpful for the human being to lead a meaningful and a dignified life. So here, the answers, your options are given. Preamble. Yes, preamble is very, very important for the in order to achieve, in order to enjoy human rights, because preamble gives here justice, liberty, freedom, secularism, fraternity. These are the things which is going to make a human life is more meaningful life. That's why preamble is also important. Option 2 here, the directive principle of state policy. The DPSP, the main intention of the DPSP is to make a India or a state as a welfare state. It includes human rights, it includes women rights, it includes natural rights, it also take care about educational rights, it also take care about employment rights. So it is a 360-degree coverage of the human rights. So option 2, see here, the 2 directive principle of state policy is also right. Then fundamental duties. Yes, fundamental duties is going to make a person a more civilized, more responsible, more accountable towards a nation, towards a society, towards a woman, towards a nature. So this also includes human rights. So by applying our common sense, we can say that preamble, DPSP and FDs are very, very important to achieve human rights. So this type of questions we can tackle through the common sense, not with your PYQs, because we don't know what exactly when it was happened, Declaration of Human Rights. We have not seen the text of that human rights. We have not seen that book. So these questions are going to be tackled with common sense. So now we are going to the next question. So question says, which part of the Constitution India declares ideal of the welfare state? This is very common question, very easy question and compulsory question. It is like a compulsory question. DPSP is compulsory for both prelims and mains and interview. Because in my interview, the interview panel asked what exactly changed through the 42nd amendment. What are the implications of the 42nd amendment through the DPSP, and what are the changes we have made through the 42nd amendment in the DPSP. So that's why I am going to ask you, you have to see the 42nd amendment from the both 3 stages, prelims, mains and interview. So here the question is very easy. The answer is DPSP, Directive Principle of State Policy. My point is not finding the answer. My point is finding the pulse of the examiner. So again, the option B, it is given fundamental rights. Option C, preamble. Option D, 7th schedule. Dear students, you please keep in mind that the 7th schedule is always important because it speaks about the federal features of the constitution. It speaks about the separation of power between the state and center. So that's why out of that 12 schedules, which schedule if you ask which schedule is important, I would say 7th schedule is the most important one. Now we are going to take up with the next question. With reference to the provisions contained in a part 4 of the Constitution of India, which of the following statement is or are correct? In 2020, the question is all about DPSP. The question is all about DPSP. So every year, without DPSP, there is no question at all. Every year, without preamble, there is no question at all. So you keep on reading Lakshmikant book. That is never going to give information about the mindset of the UPSC. These PYQs only will give insight about PYQs, about your mindset of the examiner. Here the question, they shall be enforceable by a court. No, it is not enforceable by a court because it is subject to the discretion of the state. As we are aware that the amount and the resources which need to implement DPSP is not sufficient for the government to implement those things. That's why the constitutional framework found that you can take your own time and implement as and when it comes, and as the time comes, if you have enough resources, then only implement. That's why it is not enforceable by the courts. As we see in the fundamental rights, those fundamental rights are political in nature, those fundamental rights are not economic in nature. That's why constitutional frameworks allowed the state government, the DPSP can be enforceable at any point of time. Yes, the option number A is wrong. So if we say option A is wrong, option A and B will go directly. Then option B and D. So here we have to check whether a third statement is right or wrong. The principles laid down in this part are to be influence the making of the laws of the state. Of course, yes. Every constitutional provisions and words are going to influence the state across the India, because the constitution is the basic book. Through this book, every law takes inspiration from this book. That's why the principles laid down in this part are to influence the making of the laws by the state. Exactly. So here option D, 2 and 3 are exactly right. So here my point is they shall not be enforceable by any courts. Here option 1 and option 2 are contradictory in nature. Option 1 and option 2 are contradictory in nature. If option 1 is right, then option 2 should not be right. Option 2 at any cost, option 2 is not going to be right. So that's why I am telling you, if it is this contradictory statements, this is the one of the future. You make a note in your book that contradictory statement are bound to wrong. Out of 2 statements, 1 statement is bound to wrong. The contradictory statements are never going to come only in one option. It is going to come in different option. If option 1 is right, then there should be option 2 should be wrong. If option 2 is right, then option 1 should be wrong. In this way, we have to see the UPSC mindset. Then question number 5. Which article of the Constitution of India safeguards one's right to marry the person of one's choice? Yes, this is the current affair question. If you keep on looking into the current affairs issue, if you keep on looking the Supreme Court judgments, then only you can tackle this type of question. These things are not mentioned in Lakshmikant old series book. I am telling you guys, you have to see the PYQs and understand the pulse of the examination, then only you can read accordingly. Taking a books and reading that books without application of mind will not make any sense or any benefit to your preparation. So most of the people are going to asking that, sir, give me book list. Sir, you are going to get a book list in Google also. But my point is, so which book is not important? So the themes which are mentioned in the books, you have to segregate which are important, which are not important. So here, the right to marry one's right, the person's one choice belongs to the Article 21. Article 21 speaks about a right to life. Yes or no? Right to life and liberty. So Article 19 is freedom of speech and expression. Article 25, Article 29 educational right. Article 25 speaks about secularism. My point is, apart from finding the answer, you have to look into the other options also. There is a one common sense that Article 19 and Article 21 is always important. for your examination. Till you are making the preparation for UPSC, you should concentrate more on Article 19 and 21 from 360-degree angle. I am telling you, you have to see the 21 and Article 19 in a more integrated manner rather than a separate basis. You have to find out which are the constitutional cases, which are the judgments, Supreme Court judgments, what are the new provisions added in Article 21. Fine. So here, right to marry the persons of one's choice. The right to marry a person of one's choice is integral to Article 21, right to life and liberty of the Constitution. This is called famous Adya case, Shafin Jahan versus Ashokan KM. In this case, court has said one can marry a person in which a person is interested. Any person can marry with any person irrespective of gender, caste, religion and place of birth. One can marry with her choice or his choice. So we should not make any restriction. A Muslim girl can marry with a Hindu boy, or Hindu girl can marry with a Muslim, or intercaste and interreligion marriages are going to happen in our society, and it is a part of Article 21. You should not make any restrictions to those couples to marry. You should marry in this direction only. That's why it is called Adya case. In famous Adya case, Supreme Court has told clearly you have to do that is the person's life and liberty. The Constitution protects the ability of each individual to pursue the way of life or faith to which she or he seeks to adhere. So now Supreme Court, I am going to give a hint, and you make one more note that Supreme Court judgment pertains to the fundamental rights are very, very important. You should not see all the Supreme Court judgments, but my point is Supreme Court judgments related to the fundamental rights, related to DPSP, preamble, federal futures, then Supreme Court judgments related to the governor, financial issues, and many things which are burning in nature. That's why you should not see, you are not expected to become a lawyer, you are not expected to become the member of the bar council. So you are expected to clear the civil service examination. That's why you should see the Supreme Court judgments from the angle of the UPSC. So this is the smart work. In the context of the polity, which one of the following would you accept as the most appropriate definition of the liberty? In the context of the polity, which one of the following would you accept as the most appropriate definition of the liberty? It was asked in 2018. I am asking you, I am telling you again, liberty is the most important component. Liberty is the most important component of your preparation examination. The question is all about, the previous question is also related to the liberty. Yes. So here answer is opportunity to develop oneself fully. Opportunity to develop oneself fully. So what is the wrong in option E? Protection against the tyranny of the political rulers. Is it a liberty? So here the question is most appropriate. You have to find out the most appropriate. Here the option A, B, C, D. All the four options are correct. All the four options are correct. But my point is which is most appropriate? So when compared to option A and D, D is most appropriate. When compared to option B and D, D is most appropriate. Here the protection against tyranny of the political rulers, it is not only speaks against the tyranny, it also speaks about individual development. It also speaks about educational right. It also speaks about your economic justice. It also speaks about secularism. So that is the meaning of liberty. Absence of restraint. So if there is absence of restraints, it doesn't mean that an individual is going to develop fully in a more integrated manner. No. So absence of restraint will not convey the complete meaning of the liberty. Option C, opportunity to do whatever one likes. This is the extreme statement. This is the extreme statement. No. In our life and in our UPSC exam, extreme statements are never going to be correct. Yes, so that's why option C we can be ruled out very easily. So among the four options, option D seems to be very most and appropriate answer. Fine. Then we know the definition of liberty. Liberty means the absence of restraints on the activity of the individuals, providing opportunities for the development of individual personalities. Preamble secures to all citizens of India liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. So this is one type of liberty. Preamble gives. Here, the liberty of thought. Thought, you can think whatever you want to think. That is subjected to again limitations. Then expression, belief, faith, and worship. You can worship whatever the God. You are expected to become atheist or theist, anything, whatever you want. But Constitution will not enforce any idea you to follow your particular reason, that is worship. This liberty is enforced through their fundamental rights. The ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity have been taken from the French Revolution. The ideals of the liberty, equality, and fraternity have been taken from the French Revolution. Yes, this is all about. So this is the extra information. French Revolution. So liberty of the liberty, equality, and fraternity. These are the three thoughts are taken from the French Revolution. Next question. Which one of the following reflects the most appropriate relationship between the law and liberty? Sir, if you analyze these previous questions, liberty is the one of the key component for the UPSC examination. So through PYQs, we came to know that liberty is one of the important idea and theme. That's why I'm going to suggesting you to read PYQs, analyze the PYQs, and prepare accordingly. Yeah. The question is all about which one of the following reflects the most appropriate relationship between the law and liberty. So here, if there are more laws, there is less liberty. If there is no laws, there is no liberty. If there is a liberty, laws have to be made by the people. What exactly meaning of the question number A? Option A, if there are more laws, there is a less liberty. No. If there are no laws, if there are more laws, there is a less liberty. Sir, if you see the Indian society, Indian laws jurisprudence, we have many laws. If you go for marriage, there is a different law. If you go for divorce, there is a different law. If person is born, that for that separate procedure. If person is dead, for that separate procedure is there. But still we are enjoying the freedom. Yes or no? So the first question number, option number A is not appropriate explanation. Option number B. If there are no laws, there are no liberty. Exactly. This is the core idea of our constitution. This is the core idea. See, in previous year question paper, constitution, the examiner asked twice, what exactly meaning of government? What exactly meaning of government? Constitutional government. The meaning of the constitutional government is a limited government. Limited means it is putting a limitations on the government, not on the people. Why? Why lawmakers thought that we should put a limitations on the government, not on the people? Is that because government have a economic resource, government have a human resource, government have a power, government is might. So most of the time might is right. That's why it is going to put a limitations. If there are no laws, for example, if there is no fundamental rights, the fundamental rights are looks like a law only. If there are no fundamental rights, then our liberty, equality, secularism, then constitutional right related to the education, all these a great provisions and things are not going to be enjoyed by the people. But yes, our constitution says you have to protect the right to freedom of liberty and speech and expression, then right to equality, then freedom from exploitation. Yes, if there are no laws, then government is going to show its muscles to bring down the voice of the people, to suppress the dissent in the society. That's why if there are no laws, there is no liberty. So liberty should be, if you want to protect liberty, then that should be protected by the laws, because the laws are going to make a limit. It is going to make a limit the power of the government, not the power of the people, because in democracy, power and will of the people is most important than the will of the government. Yes. If there is a liberty, laws have to be made by the people. No, it is not so, because people are not technocrats related to the making of the law. But it is the technocrats who can make a law. While making the law, the lawmakers should have visions like Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Rajendra Prasad. They are visionaries. That's why you are enjoying liberty. So it is not expected to make a law by the people. No, people are the generalist in nature. They are not aware about the lawmaking process. They are not aware about the intricacies of the lawmaking process. We are not expected to every common man to become a lawmaker. No, that is not true. If laws are changed too often, liberty is in danger. No, because in our constitution we have made 100+ amendments. in our constitution, we have made 100 plus amendments. Still, we are enjoying the liberty. That is the beauty of the liberty. So, out of the 4 options, option B seems to be most appropriate for the examiner. Which one of the following reflects the most appropriate relations between law and liberty? Same question. Yes, next question. Right to privacy is protected as an intrinsic part of right to life and personal liberty. Which of the following in the Constitution of India correctly and appropriately implies the above statement? This question was asked in 2018. My point and my observation from this question is that Article 21 is important because it was previously appeared in Adia case. One can marry of his or own choice. One choice. We should not obstruct them, we should not restrict them. Whoever she wants or whoever he wants, they can marry with him or her. Yes. So here my observation is Article 21, liberty, liberty, liberty. Whenever you wake up in the room, you should speak about liberty because this is how you have to get involved with the UPSC preparation. Correct? Yeah. Which of the following in the Constitution of India correctly, appropriately implied above the statement? Yes. So Article 21 and the freedoms guaranteed in Part 3rd. See, Article 21 speaks about liberty. This question is very easy. What about option A? Article 14 and provisions under the Article 42nd Amendment to the Constitution. Sir, Article 14 speaks about right to equality. 42nd Amendment is like a mini constitution. It speaks many things. We cannot directly say it speaks about personal liberty. Article 17, it abolishes untouchability. Article 24, that is going to speak about child labor. So, among the 4 options, option seems to be more correct and most correct. Then question number 9. The mind of the makers of the Constitution of India is reflected in which of the following? So after seeing the question, we should look into the options. Option A, preamble. Option B, the fundamental rights. Option C, DPSP. Option D, FD. So if you see the 4 options, all the 4 options are repeated themes in nature. Yes, preamble is important. FR, yes, fundamental rights, law of liberty, thought and expression. Option C, the DPSP, the directive principle of state policy. Yes, very important. FD is important. So here the answer is the preamble. The vision of the constitutional makers is completely concised and concentrated in the preamble. It speaks about justice, it speaks about belief systems, it speaks about faith, it speaks about expression, it speaks about opportunities, it speaks about justice, it speaks about secularism, it speaks about democratic principles, socialist principles. 42nd Amendment we have made, and through many Supreme Court judgments we came to know that the preamble is not only part of constitution, it is integral part of constitution. Yes. So this is all about the mind of the makers of the constitution is present in preamble. In the Berubari Union case in 1960, the Supreme Court said that the preamble shows that a general purpose behind the several provisions in the constitution. So preamble speaks about welfare states, preamble speaks about fundamental rights, preamble speaks about fundamental duties, preamble speaks about the Indian way of life, that is secularism. Preamble speaks about the nature of the state. It is a democratic and republic. Yes or no? So what we can say, it is like a trailer of the film. It is a trailer of the film. The most important components are showcased in the preamble. That's why when compared to FR and FD and DPSP, preamble shows the clear reflection of the constitution makers mindset. Fine. So here the preamble of the constitution is framed with the great care and deliberation, hence it reflects the high purpose and the noble objectives of the constitutional makers. So Pradeep Jain case in 1984, Supreme Court has opined about preamble. Then question number 10. Democracy's superior virtue lies in the fact that it calls into activity. The democracy's superior virtue lies in the fact that it calls into activity. Option A, the intelligence and character of the ordinary men and women. The methods for strengthening executive leadership. Option C, a superior individual with dynamism and vision. Option D, a band of dedicated party workers. If you see option D, outrightly we can eliminate this option. A band of dedicated party workers. No, that is not a democracy superior virtue. No, it is not about party system. It is about a common man system. So that's why option D seems to be. It makes a nation a people who are loyal to the person, not to the party, not with the constitution. We can see option C, option D can be eliminated easily. Then if you see the option B, the methods for strengthening executive leadership. No, in democracy, we are not going to strengthen the executive leadership or political leadership. So we are going to strengthen the voice and choice of the people. So we can say that option B and D is going to be eliminated outrightly, provided if you know the vision of the constitution very clearly. Option A, the intelligence and character of ordinary men and women. Option C, a superior individual with dynamism and vision. See, if you see the option A and C, in option A, it seems to be ordinary men and women. So, for constitution, ordinary men and women is more important. Option C, a superior individual with dynamism and vision. All human beings are not superiors. All 140 crore human beings are not super individuals. They are common men like you and me. That's why when compared to option A and C, option A seems to be more appropriate in nature. Right? Question number 11. Which of the following objectives is not embodied in the preamble to the Constitution of India? So again, the liberty, this preamble topic is important. Till you make UPSC preparation, you should not leave preamble. So if you had the complete preamble, that is also good for you, because one of my friend who went to the interview, the first question starts with preamble only. Just they said, you tell me the preamble, we the people of India, you have to start like that. If you tell everything in the preamble, everything which is mentioned in the preamble, you will get more marks in the interview. In most of the time, and if of course after you become IAS and IPS officers, once you tell the preamble in your speeches, it makes more sense to the society, government, and for a common man. Right? So preamble is going to help you throughout your life. So I request and I suggest you to buy the complete preamble text. Right? So liberty of thought is mentioned, liberty of expression is mentioned, economic liberty is mentioned, liberty of belief. Yes. So here the option is liberty of belief is not mentioned. Thought is expressed. Thought. You are a freedom. You are free. You are free. You have all type of freedom to go in your own thoughts. Yes. Expression is there. Economic liberty is there, because economic liberty, according to Gandhiji, economic liberty is the real liberty rather than political liberty. You are politically freedom, but economically not freedom. It's the same condition with the middle class people like you and me. We are not economically liberated. Fine. So option A, B, C are mentioned in the preamble, but option D is not mentioned. Right. The term liberty means absence of restraints on the activities of individuals and providing opportunities for the development of individual personalities. The preamble secures to all citizens of India liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. Liberty does not mean license to do what one likes. No, this is the most important point. Liberty is not a license. Fundamental rights is not a license for a people to enjoy, to express the way they want. No. Most of the time there is a conflict is going to come between the national security and the freedom of speech, because sometimes by using the freedom of speech, the people are going to make some nonsense in the society which may impact the internal and external security of the nation. That's why there should be a clear cut, a balance between the national security and freedom of speech. In the same way, we are going to speak about the individual freedom as well as the security of the nation, because right to privacy has to be maintained and protected. At the same time, we have to look into the what are the messages, what type of messages, conversations, audio, visuals are going to happen between individuals, because some vested interests, some antisocial elements are going to use this right to privacy principle for their anti-constitutional and anti-social works. That's why there should be balance between the right to privacy and deep state activities. Deep state means state is going to look into the your activities. Yes. It has to be enjoyed within the limitations mentioned in the constitution itself. So this was the question already asked in the UPSC mains. What are the constitutional limitations for the Article 19? Yes, the ideals of liberty, equality, fraternity in our preamble have been taken from the French Revolution. Yes, this is true. Then Article 12, the right to vote to be elected in India. The right to vote and to be elected in India is a fundamental right, natural right, constitutional right, and legal right. So it is about legal right. Yes or no? Yes, it is about constitutional right. The meaning of constitutional right means the provisions which are mentioned in the constitution is called a constitutional right. Legal right means a rights which are present in the rules, laws, and regulations. The fundamental rights, the rights which are mentioned in only in fundamental rights. The natural rights means any human rights which are not mentioned in the constitution, rules, regulations, and formulation. Yes, the right to vote mentioned in the constitution. Fine, we can discuss about this. Right to vote, Article 3 to 6. Article 3 to 6. Elections to the House of the People and to the legislative assemblies to the states to be on the basis of adult suffrage. Universal adult suffrage means whoever attains a particular age. Previously, it was a 21 years. Through 61st Amendment, we have made it into the 18. Whoever attains the age of 18, he or she is going to make a we have a right to vote. Yes, she can cast her vote. Yes. Every person who is a citizen of India and who is not less than the 21 years of age and is not otherwise disqualified shall be entitled to vote for any such elections. So this is all about vote. Rights are not limited to only fundamental rights enumerated in the Constitution. Constitution provides many more rights which may not be fundamental rights. So the rights which are mentioned in the fundamental rights are fundamental rights as well as constitutional rights. For example, right to property is a constitutional right. It is not a fundamental right. Previously, before 44th Constitutional Amendment, it was considered as a constitutional amendment. It was considered as a fundamental right. Now it is a constitutional right. So there is a difference between constitutional right and fundamental rights. All fundamental rights are constitutional rights. All constitutional rights are not fundamental rights. You have to understand this very clearly. Right? So this is all about PYQ series of the polity section. In the next class, we are going to come up with few more questions. It is based on themes. So we should look into those things and you keep watch this conquering the prelim series. Thank you.